Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and fresh off the post, lady, is Transformers Legacy United 5-pack. Now, there's two ways to look at this. I think a lot of people perhaps were upset around the release of Autobot Hound not being released in as a general release, and you're buying it just to get that, or you're buying this because perhaps you've missed out on these previous figures, because what Sunstreaker and Trailbreaker would have been normal releases with Earthrise, whereas Jazz, in fact Wheeljack, was a Netflix and an Earthrise release. Like most of them, Autobot Jazz has, I think, been just a Studio Series 86 as far as I can recall. So if you missed them, then maybe it's an opportunity to get them, which is great. And I do like the idea of them re-releasing packs like this, because there are times when I find myself, and bear in mind that I generally, in terms of Transformers, I generally buy, I review, I sell on, and then sometimes I think, do you know what, I'd love to have that figure again, just to mess around with it a bit longer. So from that perspective, I'm generally feeling quite excited about this release. The packaging is the usual packaging of when they do a second release or recolored and they try and make it all special. I never understand recolors. Even the Diaclone ones, Diaclones are great. That's how this all began, but come on, do we really need them? Probably not. The top and the back of the box, or in fact on the side, sorry, this is going to be very hard to see. You got some heads on there, pretty much the same as on the front. Pretty much nothing on the back. And on this side, you got the other heads on there. And the other piece as well is down here. It's just Autobots Stand United 5-pack, Autobot Jazz, Sunstreaker, Trailbreaker, Wheeljack, and Autobot Hound. Right, let's get them out and have a closer look at these. Firstly, it's great to have them all out of the packaging and all together. And I've got to say, I feel more impressed now that I've got them out of the packaging than I thought that I would. I know that they're the same molds other than Hound, but the paint jobs are perfection in my mind. So just bring them out slightly, and then we'll have a closer look at each figure, obviously. So there they are, all of them out together. And I'm not sure my light's doing it much justice, but the colors are really vibrant. I'm not necessarily a fan of the cartoon screens, but they do add something to it, something different. It's like when we had that Cup animated version, I actually thought it was really good. I really actually did like it. So let's have a closer look at all the figures. I'm obviously going to start with Hound, because Hound is probably the one that probably most of you want to see. It's one that I mostly wanted to see out of all of this as well. Okay, so here is Hound, and there is a beautiful sort of light green going on all the way around here. So you got the sort of illuminate green, as I call it. I could be completely wrong. And then you got the sort of darker beige green. And I'm probably not describing this very well at all. Nice little gun, usual pistol. And then he's got a nice star there, nice Autobot logo there. Engine detail on there. Looks absolutely fabulous. You've got the gun, or did he use this to, I'm trying to remember, holograms? Wait a minute, was that Maron? No, holograms. I feel like I'm right, but I could be wrong. Anyway, and then you got a beautiful head sculpt. And then the piece behind there as well. But that is one hell of a head sculpt. Beautiful blue eyes. Absolutely great. And then you got the gray and the yellow to complement it. There's a bit of gaps going on around, etc. But in terms of how this looks, in terms of its robot mode, I think they've done a fabulous job. And let's be honest, you're going to be hopefully showing it from this angle anyway, so it's going to be very difficult for them to see the hollows at the back, etc. But I'm surprised they didn't try and find a way to get the wheels to slot into there. But, you know, but hey, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you can see how this is going to sort of fold out anyway. But yeah, that is one hell of a top job they've done there. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Really great. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to transform him and we can have a look at that all-important Auto mode. Okay, firstly, let me apologize because I've just realized that I did not do articulation on the robot mode for Hound. So once I've done the review part of the Auto mode, I will certainly go back and do articulation, because I feel like that is very important, especially for a figure that we've never got before. But yeah, wow, just look at that. That is perfect G1 Jeep. I do love it. I'm trying to think. The only thing that I can think of, is there like always a spare wheel on the back of a Jeep? I feel like that is the only piece that I think that is missing, but I'm not sure how they would achieve it. I mean, underneath, you can see what's going on underneath. Pretty much it is a shell former. But yeah, I think they've done a really good job. I guess one of the other things that I feel a little bit disappointed about is it would have been nice to have perhaps a spike to go in here. You know, just sit in here. And they have, they did do that. Was it the Centurion Special Battle Pack? I feel like that was perhaps the opportunity to do that. So I'm not sure why they couldn't replicate that with this. Just to make it a little bit more special, because if you think about, other than this, they're pretty much all repaints, you know, and perhaps not big repaints, let's be honest. So anyway, that is Hound's Auto mode. I am very, very impressed, very happy with that. I'm looking forward towards the end of this review, putting them all together in their Auto mode. Okay, in terms of articulation for Hound, so you can get that head sort of around, but you do have this piece here that will make it very difficult. The arms can do 360, can lift up like that. You do have the usual single on the arm. There is movement on the wrist, which is nice, and you can do a whole 360. Oh my goodness, I am sorry, I knocked the whole thing. There we go. 360 on the waist. Can lift up there with the splits. You can do a swivel, but not a traditional swivel as you would expect. And then single on the knee, little righty, lefty, up and a little upsy and downsy, but that is about it. So some nice articulation. I think it's enough for what you need to get this fella into some really, really decent poses as far as I'm concerned. There we go. Brilliant. Next up is Sunstreaker, and pretty much the same mode as before, but once again, just they've really enhanced the colors. You know, that's not really coming out very well. I just wanted to show the really blue eyes on the face sculpt. I'll be honest, every time I think of Sunstreaker now, I automatically go to IDW Comics, where he sort of betrayed the Autobots to the Decepticons, which was brilliant. It wasn't it sort of wasn't intentional. He was just, he couldn't deal with the humans, if I remember rightly. So yeah, very, very interesting. So I never think of him any other way. I think he redeemed himself by the end. But yeah, this is a really, really nice head sculpt. And the body is full of beautiful details all throughout, which is to be expected, and not much difference off the original. Nice little gun. I feel like these are the same guns. I can't be sure. It was, what, Earthrise, I think, when we got Sunstreaker. And it did become a very hard figure to find in the end. You have this bit, which I was never really a fan of. It doubles up as a sort of, you could shoot lots of guns over here, which I do think is very cool. It also acts as a spoiler. So that was one thing that they were really big at the time, where you could remove certain parts, etc., to make the transformation or perhaps the robot mode look better. But I feel like they've even in the last sort of 4 years, they've jumped leaps and bounds, Hasbro, in terms of the mechanic transformation. You know, I mean, when we look at Trailbreaker in a minute, Trailbreaker suffers quite a big deal. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still a smart transformation. I feel like if they revisited that, they could easily achieve that. But yeah, you know, beautiful. I mean, you've got the pins in there. Apologies, I've just knocked that. I think, of course, you know that's happened already because you're witnessing it. Right, so articulation. I'm going to do it properly this time. So arm can go all the way around. It can lift up like that. This does impede there. The usual single there. There is no movement on the wrist. I thought there was for some reason. You can spin all the way around with it. And he can't do the full splits. You can. Come on. Kick forward. That's very tight indeed. He's got spin there, and then he's got a single there, little left, and up C, not rear down Z, or a righty. There we go. Some nice articulation there. Let's transform this figure and have a closer look at that Auto mode. Sunstreaker, a prime example of why I enjoy tinkering with Hasbro Transformers. It's so much fun. The transformation is thoroughly enjoyable. And look at that. That looks really, really smart. Really, really decent. Once again, the color's vibrant. Maybe it's the fact that it's the animated blue there that just adds to it. But it just looks so damn cool, man. I just love it. You know, I really do. And I really do hope that they do a few more 5-packs like this, because they could easily do this, you know. I mean, the next pack could have, what's it, Sideswipe, Bumblebee. I'm just going to throw in Cliff Jumper in there because I can't think of any G1 Transformers. But do you know what I mean? There are so many that were released 4 or 5 years ago in the Earthrise that you could easily remake them over with this. And this is the sort of recolor that I perhaps don't mind so much compared to the amount of recolors. I mean, they've just announced a wave of recolors. I'm thinking, what on earth is that crap? I'm not going to buy that crap. No offense to anybody who is, but I just find myself thinking, why, Hasbro? Are you not asking the questions of why you're losing money? Surely these figures end up being shelf warmers. I know that the molds are there, you're trying to make the most of it, but they're not characters that people can relate to. You know, I mean, I guess if you're buying it for your child, perhaps you're not so bothered, but yeah, I just don't get it. Anyway, I've probably digressed and whinged a little bit there, but yeah, there we go. Let's have a look at the next figure. All right, next up is Wheeljack, and yes, this looks very, very nice, and easily was one of my favorite figures. In fact, I'm easily pleased, clearly, because I liked all of these when they're originally released. Okay, you know, you could argue that the paint apps weren't perfect, but this figure was probably one of my favorite, and I love the masterpiece. That was probably one of the first masterpieces that I got back in the day. I guess I'm not sure if this should have been see-through here, these pieces here. That's probably the only thing that I could probably disagree on, that probably don't like. But the Auto mode is one of my favorite Auto modes as well. I love the race car that Wheeljack was. Yeah, that is beautiful. Wow, look at that. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then you got the little missile launcher, and if I remember rightly, no, the missile doesn't come out now, just like I thought it wouldn't. Has a really beautiful gun there. Not many paint apps on that, which is a little bit disappointing, but hey ho, it is what it is. Articulation, you can get the head sort of round. I'm not doing a very good job. There we go, we finally got it round. That's a beautiful head sculpt. Love that head sculpt. Arm can go up. Got a single there. There is movement on the hand because this piece moves for the Auto mode. You can do the splits. You can lift. Oh my goodness, why is that not? I feel like that does go forward, but it's very, very stiff that I'm not even going to risk it. Yeah, weird, bizarre. You got a spin there as well. Go up, see, and down, does he? Little lefty there. It's nice articulation going on there. I feel like that always moved. Maybe it's just me, but I don't want to force it because I'm worried that I could be forcing something that isn't meant to move, and that will lead to a disaster, which I do not want. So there's articulation. Let me transform Jackie, and we can have a look at that all-important auto mode. Okay, for something that had looked so unique and so perfect, especially that Netflix version of this. The Netflix version of this is my all-time favorite of it, because I loved the fact that they looked like they were perhaps in battles and they're damaged, and it didn't look so clean, etc., like the animated version. This is meant to be the animated version, so clean, it probably does work. One thing that is my biggest bugbear, look at that. You can see the difference in color. You have this beautiful pure white going along here, and it all fits really nice together, and then you have this cream piece here. I have no idea what happened. It really is disappointing. You have 638. I'm presuming that's to do with the race car piece, and then you do see these little pins all the way through. Another big gripe, which perhaps would have been my gripe before, I'm sorry I haven't put that spoiler together, would have been this piece as well. This stands like out like a sore front thumb. So if you ever wanted this to fit in like this, it doesn't work. Why on earth? I mean, I guess you could consider this. Is this a premium pack? I'm not sure. I mean, in fact, every Transformer I buy these days, it feels premium because all the prices have gone up. But it would have been nice just have a little plastic plug that you could just pop in there. Real adult collectors would look after that, and they would. It just would have felt a bit better. Now because of that, you've almost got to put the gun in. Now, if this is a robot in disguise, well, sorry, if I see a gun on top of a car, I'm going to be very suspicious of that car, etc. So, you know, just minor disappointment. And I shouldn't really be disappointed because I've had these figures before. I know what these figures are. I know what they mean, etc. So, there we go. Let's move on to the next figure, eh? Sorry, just going back to the 5-pack. If you did a second 5-pack, you could easily add in Prow. I know Prow's had a few releases. And you could add in Ironhide, Ratchet, you know, Brawn even. You know, there are so many of this original cast that you could do. You could even go back and add, do I say it, Hot Rod in there. Because, you know, that Studio Series figure was amazing and very hard to get now. Unless you got lucky last year in game. So anyway, if you got this the Studio Series of Jazz, I feel like you would already won with Jazz. That figure was the bomb, and it's exactly the same mold as this. And do I say I don't feel like this is much of an improvement on that. I was always a big fan of Jazz and how Jazz looked. He was cool, right? That's the way that I've always looked at them. You know, I mean, the difference is some of these colors are a bit more vibrant, etc. Maybe they've got the racing car colors right. I don't have that original figure to obviously show, etc. But I think the only difference that they could have done, I mean, you got this little gun which he had there was, and I feel once again I refer back to that battle figure that came with lots of accessories. I feel like, did they do the hook, the grappling hook in that pack? I feel like they did. I could be just talking crap, but I feel like they did do that. So why on earth wouldn't you make this the best Jazz figure and, you know, sought after, etc.? You know, you wonder when they do 86 Optimus Prime, are they going to give us a roller? Are they going to give us an axe, or are they just going to do us over? Because they could easily do that. But yeah, brilliant figure. Very, you know, I'm already in love with this. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I feel like that visor maybe pops down a little bit more. It's a bit more, you know, imposing on the face. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Arm can go round, lift up like that, Got a single on the arm, no movement on the hand. You can go all the way around. Sorry, it helps if I show you. You've got this backpack here, so do be careful. Legs can go out, legs can go forward and back. You have a swivel as well, and you have a single there. Little lefty, little downsy, no real righty, all upsy. So there we go. Yeah, brilliant figure, absolutely brilliant. I cannot say how much I like this figure. So let me transform and we can see that alt mode and see what that looks like, because that's going to be probably the best part of this new paint job that they've done. Once again, I think the only thing that I can really gripe about is the hole. That just looks absolutely awful. What they've done with this, the paint job number 14 on the side, the stripes, looks really amazing, and what you expect from an Autobot from I almost said Jaws, from Jazz, but having that hole there just ruins the whole look of it. You know, I mean, you can maybe overlook it slightly, but yeah, absolutely dreadful. Why they would incorporate something that doesn't need to be in this figure to make this the perfect release, I do not know, because it's right now I look at this, I think absolutely stunning, and I see that, I think there's a great big hole in that. Hey ho, it is what it is. Some nice silver on the wheels as well. I like this bit here. You got like this black little piece in between the rear wheel spoiler. Maybe I've said that wrong. Maybe I'm just making words up. The protection piece, it looks really well done, and then this bit just fits in well. If that stays in proper, that looks really nice as well. It's just got a really beautiful feel to it, and you know, fantastic job. This looks absolutely banging. I love it. If I can get past the hole anyway. So anyway, on to our last figure, which is Trailbreaker, which is probably the biggest figure out of all of them. If I can get, my camera's gonna do something dodgy. Don't move, please, camera. Don't move. So like I said, the rear part of this can be taken off and become a shield, which I do feel like works, because what the worst thing about Trailbreaker is, because the arms and this piece ends up being a big part of the side, they didn't transform this piece very well, or make this into a piece that could fold up somewhere out of the way, so you do lose some sort of momentum with the hands. Other than that, I'm loving this sort of this grayish look going on. I feel like it's a much better attire than the original release, which I think was just full on black in color. The blue actually complements it really well. You got a nice clear Autobot sign there, and a great head sculpt as well. Trailbreaker, let's be honest, wasn't probably one of the most memorable Autobots, but he was, other than those first few episodes, I feel like he didn't really step out that much, because I feel like the marketing was more towards toys. Let's be honest, there were a lot of favorites that remained at the forefront of it. You've seen 4 to my left. Sunstreaker probably the weakest next to Trailbreaker, but memorable enough, etc. You can pull this little gun out, which I do like there, and if you really want to, you can obviously bring out this piece here now, which looks great. Now, my biggest disappointment with this is, I go back to this this pack, is they actually released a little mini satellite that you could put on top of Trailbreaker. So I find it a little bit disappointing that that didn't find its way into this release at all, because that would have made this Trailbreaker even better than what he is now. I love the transformation. I'm looking forward to it, because it's actually really quite clever how they managed to collapse the body like this. Don't get me wrong, the arms are something that I'm not a fan of. He's got this really nifty little thick sort of gun going on as well. And, you know, there he is in all his attire. So articulation-wise, let me just shove that back there. You can move that head nicely all the way around. Little look up and down. That can go all the way around like so. You can lift up like that if you want. Yeah, you're never going to separate it from there. But, you know, he's got the single, almost a double there. The way that goes up is quite nice. He's got some rotation on the hand. He can move his hips around, but just bear in mind this lower bumper. Can lift up like that. He can do full splits. He can lift up like that and go quite back at a reasonable amount. He's got a swivel on the thigh, single there, and a little movement. In fact, no, it's a double. What am I talking about? And then he's got a little movement on the feet. So he does have some nice articulation to show. So let's transform Trailbreaker into that final art mode. Okay, here is the last art mode to look at, Trailbreaker in his art mode. And I actually really do like this art mode. I think they did a good job the first time round. The animation colors, the classic colors there, reminds me of a Kodak camera, do fit very nicely. Once again, if they could have added the aerial in this, that would have made this this figure a little bit more perhaps premium, a little bit more rarer, a little bit more something for people to get. I feel like they're missing the piece with a rope on the front here. I could be wrong. Now, there is a problem in terms of Kibble is big on the back. It is big and it is bulky and it is ugly. And somehow they get away with it with the big wheels. You can see that there. I don't know why they wouldn't take the time to try and design this or redesign slightly, getting that hand into there. I feel like it could have perhaps been done quite easily and would have worked out a little bit better, just hiding that hand, in my opinion. But it's not the end of the world. But yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. It's a great job with the animated windows as well. The other thing before I finish up, it does come with instructions for all of the characters in one massive piece, so you don't have 5 different ones to look at if you want. But to be fair, I feel like these figures are easy enough to transform that you don't have to think that much about it, nor will you spend much time looking at this. I mean, I looked at it a couple times, but in reality, once I got going, they were easy. Okay, just to wrap it up, here are all the cars together. The Autobots, they look very cool together, very nice together, and easily can slip into your collection if you missed out on these before. And I think you know, it's a great opportunity, because Hasbro don't always do this. They're sometimes fools with their releases. They would rather release 1 million repaints of a figure that nobody wants than re-release a figure that people do want or have missed out in the past. And there have been a few, and I felt like they were gonna really be better. I think they re-released the hard to get Dirged, and then it just felt like nothing. You know, it's really bizarre, absolutely bizarre. But anyway, it's nice to have these 5 together. And if you missed out, great opportunity to get them again. Or, you know, if you like repaints, these are actually very cool repaints. They do look very nice, and will fit nicely in your collection. So anyway, if you like my video, do please support my channel. Really appreciate that. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you to those already subscribed to my channel. Appreciate you guys a great deal. Make sure you look after yourself. Very important these days. And as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.